Having bought some hot soup from a frozen gypsy woman near the train station, I was rushing to see the surgeon when her daughter blocked my way. Mom senses your illness is a lie. Your husband and doctor are lying, wanting to remove a healthy organ. I sent her away, but decided to check with another doctor. Welcome to the channel Twists of Fate. Before we begin, let us know where you're watching from. We're very interested. We hope you enjoy this captivating story. Elena Vladimirovna adjusted the collar of her coat and pushed open the heavy glass door. The lobby of the private clinic for medical professionals greeted her with the scent of expensive coffee and the light aroma of flowers. A large vase of Wiley stood at the reception desk. Light marble floors, soft leather sofas lining the walls, and subdued classical music playing from invisible speakers. Everything here screamed respectability and reliability. 52 is the age when you start listening to your body more closely. Elena put off her routine checkup for 3 months. More important things kept cropping up. There were renovations. At the dacha, the grandchildren were coming for the holidays, or her friend Tamara dragged her to some ceramics class. But her husband insisted. Lena, you haven't had a checkup in a year. I work in oncology. I see the consequences of negligence every day. Come see me at the hospital. I'll see everything myself. Gennady Pavlovich had been working at this clinic for 12 years. He started as a simple doctor and rose to become head of the oncology department. Elena was proud of him. Not every husband could build such a career. They had been married for 28 years, and although in recent years they lived more like neighbors than spouses, she didn't complain. Each had their own room, their own habits, their own social circle. Many couples their age live like that. The girl at the reception smiled a professional smile. Elena Vladimirovna Kravtsova, Gennady Pavlovich is waiting for you. 3rd floor, office 312. In the elevator, Elena glanced at her reflection in the mirrored wall. She was slightly pale, with dark circles under her eyes. She hadn't slept well for the last week. She'd been having disturbing dreams, waking up at 3 a.m. and lying there for a long time staring at the ceiling. Perhaps it was intuition, or simply age taking its toll. The 3rd floor hallway looked like an expensive hotel. Carpeted paintings on the walls, fresh flowers in niches. Elena passed several doors before finding the right one. The sign read, Kravtsov GP, head of the oncology department. She knocked and, without waiting for an answer, entered. Gennady was sitting at a large desk, staring at his computer monitor. He didn't even look up. Sit down. Just a minute. Elena sank into the visitor's chair and began to survey the office. She'd been here many times, but each time she was surprised by how little personal there was in this space. No family photos, no vacation souvenirs. Just framed diplomas on the wall, medical reference books on the shelves, and a large ficus tree in the corner that looked artificial. Gennady finally tore himself away from the screen. He was 56 years old, graying at the temples, and wore glasses with thin gold frames. She had once fallen in love with his seriousness, his confidence, his ability to make decisions. Now that same seriousness seemed like a wall, impossible to penetrate. I got your test results and images. Something in his voice made Elena straighten up. Not even the intonation, but some barely perceptible tension. And what was that? Gennady took off his glasses and rubbed the bridge of his nose. She knew that gesture. He did it when he was getting ready to tell a patient bad news. But she wasn't a patient. She was his wife. Lena, I don't know how to tell you this. Gina, you're scaring me. Speak directly. He put his glasses on the table and looked into her eyes. His gaze was strange. She had studied that face for years and now couldn't understand what she saw. Emotion, anxiety, or something else. You have a malignant tumor in the pancreas and omphalos. The words fell like stones into still water. Elena felt the floor beneath her feet become unstable. What? But I feel fine. I have no pain. This often happens in the early stages. That's why regular checkups are important. Gennady got up from the table and went to the window. Outside the hospital courtyard with its neat flower beds and benches was visible. Several people in hospital gowns were strolling along the paths. The stage is still suitable for surgery, but we need to act quickly. I've already spoken with Viktor Sergeyevich. He is the best surgeon in our clinic. He agreed to take your case. Elena looked at her husband's back, unable to collect her thoughts. Cancer. She has cancer. How is this possible? She's always taking care of herself. Eat right, go for walks, no bad habits. She was still supposed to see her grandchildren, graduate from school, see Nastya's daughter defend her dissertation. Her voice wavered as Gina looked at her. Gennady turned around, but didn't come over. He remained standing by the window, his hands in the pockets of his white coat. I know it's a shock, but you have to pull yourself together. We have every chance. The operation, then chemotherapy. People live with this for years. Elena waited for him to come over, hug her, say something warm, something like, we'll get through this together, or I'll be here every minute. But he just stood there, and his voice sounded as if he were talking to an ordinary patient, not the woman he'd lived with for almost 3 decades. When's the operation? Next week. Viktor Sergeyevich has freed up time in his schedule for you. That's a very good sign for him. We're booked a month in advance. Elena nodded mechanically. She didn't hear half of what her husband was saying. Only one thought was pounding in her head. I could die. I might not wake up after the operation. I might never see Nastya and the grandchildren again. I need to go, she said, standing up so abruptly that her head spun. Gennady took a step toward her, but she pulled away. I'm fine. I just need to be alone. She left the office, walked down the hallway, took the elevator, everything in a blur. The hall smelled of lilies again, and the scent suddenly seemed suffocating, funereal. She almost ran outside. March had been cold this year. The wind blew small, prickly snowflakes into her face. Elena walked, not paying attention to where she was going, past parked cars, past a grocery store with a bright sign, past a playground where, despite the cold, a grandmother was pushing her grandson on a swing. Her feet led her to the nearby park. She sank down under the cold, damp bench and burst into tears. She didn't know how long she sat like that. Maybe 10 minutes, maybe an hour. The tears were gone. Only emptiness remained. Elena took out her phone, stared at the screen for a long time, then found Temer's number in her contacts. Her friend answered on the second ring. Lenka, where have you disappeared to? I called you 3 times yesterday. I wanted to invite you to the exhibition on Saturday. Toma, I have cancer. Silence on the line. Then what? Lena, where are you? I'll be right there. No need. I just wanted to hear your voice. Are you alone? Gina, with you. Elena smiled bitterly. Gina told me the diagnosis like a stranger. He didn't even hug me. What a bastard. Lena, tell me where you are. I'll come. We'll talk. I'm in the park near the clinic. But really, no need. I'm going home now. I'll just sit a little longer. Tamara didn't want to hang up for a long time, making him promise that Elena would call in the evening. Elena promised and hung up. She got up from the bench and pulled her coat around her. She had to go to the metro. She hadn't taken the car today. She'd planned to go shopping after the inspection. Funny. Just that morning, she'd been making a shopping list, thinking about what curtains to hang in the living room, planning a summer vacation with her grandchildren. And now it all seemed so insignificant. There was a crowd of people at the metro entrance. Rush hour. Everyone was hurrying home. Elena merged with the flow of people and suddenly felt someone grab her arm. She turned around abruptly. Before her stood a woman of about 60. Perhaps more than that, was hard to tell. Dark skin, dark eyes with a special sparkle, gray hair peeking out from under a bright headscarf. A gypsy. A long, colorful skirt, numerous bracelets on her wrists, large gold earrings. Let me go. Elena tried to free her hand. I don't have any cash. But the gypsy held on tightly. She looked Elena straight into the eyes, and for some reason that look made her shudder. I'm not asking for beautiful. I want to tell you something. I don't need fortune-telling. Please, let me go. The gypsy shook her head. The bracelets on her wrist jingled softly. This is not fortune-telling. It's a warning. I see things that others don't see. And now I see great trouble over your head. I know. Thank you. I was already informed today. Elena tried to break free again, but the gypsy squeezed her wrist even tighter. No, you don't understand. Your trouble is not an illness. There is no illness. What are you talking about? I have cancer. My husband just told me. The gypsy leaned closer. She smelled of some herbs and old wood. Her voice became quiet, almost a whisper. Don't trust those around you. Your illness is in someone else's hands, not your own. Evil has come from within your home. The one who should protect you is preparing your grave. Elena froze. The words were so strange, so eerie. You're delirious. My husband is a doctor. He treats people. A doctor. The gypsy woman gave a wry smile. A doctor who treats. And there are doctors who... Shh. Check it out, beautiful. Go to another doctor, far from here, where they don't know you, and you'll see the truth. She let go of Elena's hand as suddenly as she'd grabbed it. And before Elena could say anything, she vanished into the crowd as if she'd never been there. Elena stood at the entrance to the metro, rubbing her wrist. Her heart was pounding. What nonsense. These gypsy tricks, an attempt to scam people. They always do this. They scare you, instill fear, and then offer to remove the curse for a tidy sum. But she never asked for it. Elena went down to the metro, got on the train, and leaned her head against the cold glass. Outside the window, the black walls of the tunnel flashed by, the occasional lights flickering on and off. Don't trust those around you. Nonsense. Utter nonsense. But why then did this splinter lodge itself inside? Why did the words of this strange woman stick in her head, playing over and over again? Elena remembered Gennady's look when he'd given her the diagnosis. Something about him was wrong. Not grief, not sympathy. Something else. She'd chalked it up to professional deformation. Doctors get used to bad news, learn to keep their distance. But she wasn't just a patient. She was his wife. He didn't even hug her. Didn't hold her hand. Didn't tell her he loved her, that everything would be okay. Maybe he was just that kind of person, reserved. She'd known him for 28 years. She knew he didn't like to show emotion, that he considered it a weakness. But before, long ago, when they'd just gotten married, he'd been different. He could hug her for no reason. He could call in the middle of the day just to say he missed her. Where had that man gone? Elena got off at her station and went home. Their apartment was a 15-minute walk from the metro in a nice neighborhood, a Stalin-era building with high ceilings. They'd bought it 10 years ago when Gennady got a promotion. 4 rooms, 2 balconies, overlooking a quiet courtyard with chestnut trees. Elena opened the door and walked into the dark hallway. Gennady, of course, was still at work. He rarely returned before 9 p.m. She turned on the light, took off her coat, and went into the kitchen. Took out the bottle of cognac they kept for Gesta from the cabinet, poured herself a full shot, and drank it in one gulp. The alcohol burned her throat, spread warmth through her body. It was getting dark outside. The March twilight was creeping over the city. The streetlights in the courtyard were flickering on. Somewhere below, a dog barked. Then the front door slammed. Elena sat at the kitchen table and thought, your illness is in someone else's hands, not your own. Nonsense. But what if she checked, just for peace of mind? Go to another doctor at another clinic where they don't know her. Get the test done again. If the gypsy woman was wrong, well then she was wrong. Elena wouldn't lose anything. And if not, she wouldn't think about that. Not yet. She poured herself a second glass of cognac and pulled out her phone. She opened a search engine and typed in private oncology clinics. She needed to find somewhere far from the center, where no one knew Gennady Pavlovich Krorovdavtsov, the respected head of the department, where they definitely didn't know his wife. Helena didn't sleep a wink that night. She lay in her room, staring at the ceiling, listening to Gennady snore through the wall. He returned around 10, muttered something about dinner in the fridge, locked himself in. Didn't even ask how she was feeling. Didn't even come over to talk. 28 years of marriage. When they stopped being close, Elena tried to remember some turning point, but she couldn't. It all happened gradually, imperceptibly. First, separate bedrooms. Gennady explained that he came home late, didn't want to wake her. Then separate vacations, he for conferences, she for trips with friends. Then they simply began living side by